Buenas tardes. Me llamo señora González. In this presentation, I'm hoping that you will get an idea of what studying GCSE Spanish would be like and the reasons for wanting to study it. First, let's have a look at last year's results. As you can see from the numbers, these results are far above national average. And boys who study the language in St. Ambrose tend to, if they put the work in, they tend to get really good results. Okay, so let's see what the course actually consists of. You've got 4 skills and they all count exactly the same. So you've got listening, that counts for 25% of the mark. Reading, another 25%. Writing, another 25%. And speaking, another 25%. I would say that although the speaking exam is probably the scariest, it's the one where most candidates in our school get the highest grades. The hardest skill of these tends to be listening. So what are the details about the exam? Well, the papers are tiered. The vast majority of students that do Spanish at St. Ambrose will sit the higher papers. You can't mix and match. You can't do foundation listening and higher speaking. The grades obviously go from 1 to 9. All the components are assessed in a final exam, and the speaking exam will be conducted by your teacher, marked by the exam board. We've got 3 teachers in St. Ambrose that teach GCSE Spanish. Myself, Mrs. Whittle, and Mr. Crawford. So let's have a little bit of an in-depth look at what actual topics you will be studying. The topics in GCSE are divided in 3 themes. Theme A is identity and culture. You study topics like the family, what creates conflicts in families, what relationships you have with your friends, etc. Technology. But I think one of the most interesting topics within this theme is culture. And you can see from the pictures, part of that is all the weird and wonderful things that Spanish people like to do in our free time. You can see there the bulls in San Fermin and the human towers that they organize in Catalonia, the castells. Theme B deals with local, national and international areas of interest. Now, in this theme, you're going to do things like describe your town, what you like about it, what problems it has. But in this theme, you also have a couple of topics that are a little bit more serious. For example, homelessness and volunteering and the environment and why we should help others. And then there's holidays, and let's face it, many people study a language so that when they go on holiday, they can communicate with the people. The picture that you can see here is from my hometown, it's the coastline in Malaga. And theme C is current and future plans and employment. So in this, you will talk about school, problems in school, then what you want to do after school, whether it is to go backpacking or whether it is to go to university to study law or to become an astronaut. The writing assessment. You're going to have a choice of questions. You're never going to have just one question. If you can't answer it, well, that's it. Then, you've lost it. You've got a choice. And you have an element of translation in that paper as well. The speaking assessment, the idea of this assessment is that as much as possible, it resembles a conversation. So for that, you got a role play. You might pretend to be in a hotel, booking a room, that sort of thing. You have a photo card, you see a picture, and you need to describe it, and you get asked questions on it. And then a conversation about some of the topics that you will have covered in the year. The listening and the reading assessments. Most questions are in English, so you don't actually write very much in Spanish in the listening and the reading assessment. The writing in Spanish is mostly in the writing exam. There is also some translation into English. And the exam doesn't go from easy to hard. It goes up and down. Some of the questions are very manageable. Some of the questions are really quite hard, the ones aimed at a grade 9, but it goes up and down. So let's see, some reasons to study a language. Well, obviously, first and foremost, to improve your employment potential. More and more companies are global. Learning a language helps to improve your ability in English. If you learn to structure an essay in Spanish, that's only going to help you writing in your own language. It can improve social skills and communication and confidence. You're going to have to sit a speaking exam, and that is going to develop other abilities, not just the Spanish, but also the ability to express yourself. It could improve your chances of entering to college or university. Languages are considered academic subject, so both universities and employers like a language qualification. It opens your options to study abroad, to do a term in another university, for example. Of course, if you travel abroad, you can get more out of it. If you're talking to the people in their own language, if you're making an effort, people are going to treat you better. You're going to understand them better. And that's only going to bring good things. Also, it's going to increase the awareness of the world around you, because it's going to help you see that the way that you do things is not the only way. It might not be the best way, but it opens your horizons. It makes you more tolerant. It helps you appreciate other cultures. You will get a little bit of contact into foreign film, foreign music, and it just gives you an awareness. It could even increase your understanding of your own culture, because you're comparing it to another culture. But first and foremost, studying language is fun. It's fun going to another country and trying to communicate with somebody else. And sometimes you're going to feel like an idiot when you make mistakes. I've been on the receiving end of that. But it gives you a real buzz. Nothing gives you the buzz of talking to somebody in their own language and understanding what they say to you and being able to communicate on the same level. By the time you finish a GCSE in Spanish, I wouldn't say that you are completely fluent. You're not a native speaker, but you are halfway there. Obviously in St Ambrose we've got a very strong Spanish department as A-level as well. We've got a lot of students studying A-level, and it opens that route to be able to continue with your language study. I hope this presentation has been informative, and I see you, many of you, studying Spanish next year. Adios.